What's up everybody, it's Cama, and in this video what I'm going to be breaking down is how you can overcome, how you can let go, how you can release the pattern of people pleasing. Maybe right now you are in a pattern of constantly rescuing others. It might be your partner, it might be a friend, it might be a stranger, clients, parents, family members. Maybe it's got to the point for you where you're not just rescuing them, you're not just caring for them, but by caring for others, you've neglected caring for yourself, and as a result, you're feeling drained. You're feeling like you're running on 1% battery. You're feeling like your glass is so empty that you're trying to give from an empty cup. And maybe there are some challenging emotions constantly emerging throughout your day. And maybe there are some coping strategies, such as addictions, such as just not being able to get out of bed, or getting out of bed but feeling like you're going throughout your day, just feeling inside like a zombie because there's been so much life that has been taken out of you. And if that is you, just know that I can relate, just know that I've been there, and just know that there is a way out. Because not only have I broke that pattern for myself, and still there are some patterns in terms of thoughts that pop up for me to be able to go back into those old patterns, but the difference is now I'm aware of it, and now that I'm aware of it, I can then prevent myself from going down that rabbit hole of constantly trying to rescue others. And it hasn't just been me, but I've helped so many other people in my program called The Deep End to help them break that pattern. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you some insights to really help you break that pattern, and give you some insights not to just help you break the pattern, but to help you get some insights on why that pattern might be showing up in the first place. Because when we're rescuing others, when we're constantly caring for others on the outside, it can be seen as a noble act. And it is a noble act, but when we're constantly caring for others, it's inevitable that it's going to get to the point where we feel like we're so drained, where we feel like we're on 1% battery trying to care for others, that our soul is inevitably going to step in at one point and say, hey, don't forget about me. It's going to happen. And that might manifest with those internal messages showing up. It might manifest with certain challenging emotions showing up in your body constantly throughout the day. Or it might manifest with life, universe, God, spirit, whatever it is that you believe is guiding all life, for it to slap you in the face with some type of massive life obstacle where you are no longer able to care for others in the way that you want to. Life is now forcing you to be with yourself so you can finally get the message that it's been trying to teach you all along. And this is so important to break, because if we don't break that pattern within ourselves, we are going to pass that on to future kids, or maybe you have kids, or maybe you have people that you are looking after. People are going to be seeing that you're doing that, and they're going to absorb that pattern like a sponge. So if you want to break that cycle, then here's how you do it. The first thing is start to become aware of why it might be showing up for you in the first place. And know that caring for someone isn't the same as rescuing someone. Caring for someone is a totally different energetic space to rescuing someone. Seeing someone in their victim space, or feeling like you need to care for them. That's a difference. Caring for someone is usually coming from a place of, I love you enough that I want to care for you. Rescuing someone from this space is, I need to help you. Not I want, I need to help you. And this might show up, these patterns might show up from so many different reasons, but let me break down 4. One of them might be because of a distorted self-image. When we have 0 to very low self-worth, or we are perceiving ourselves as someone who has very low self-worth, because we're not born that way, we become that way, we are conditioned that way. When we have a distorted self-image, we start to create this low self-worth. And as a result of that, we start to feel that our worth is going to be created, or we're going to remember our worth only if and only when we are helping another person. That's the first one. The second one might be created of constantly rescuing someone because there was some type of past traumatic event where you needed to rescue someone, or you were in that position where you needed to rescue someone and you failed. You weren't able to help them, and something quote unquote bad happened. And as a result of this traumatic events, whatever it might have happened in the past, now you go throughout your whole entire life trying to save others because of that one time when you weren't able to save that individual, when you weren't able to save that family member, when you weren't able to prevent that person from going down a destructive path. And there might be some guilt or shame within you that needs to be released. And when we release that emotion of guilt or shame, the pattern that is associated to that emotion gets released with it. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully as I'm going through this, the most important part of all this to break any pattern is just becoming aware of it. So start to take notice of which one out of these 4 is resonating with you the most, or which ones out of the 4 is resonating with you the most. Because when we can identify it, that's when we can change it. The third one is having little to zero boundaries. Because we are constantly teaching people how to be with us by what we say, but also by what we don't say. The lack of being able to speak your truth, or the lack of being able to set boundaries and say, hey, I know that you're constantly coming to me for this challenge, or whenever you have a challenge, but right now, this isn't working for me. This dynamic isn't working for me. Being able to set a boundary is so damn important, because by setting clear, concise, strong boundaries, then you can come from the space of helping someone out of a place of feeling recharged rather than constantly empty. Because maybe right now the dynamic might be people constantly reaching out to you, and you might be helping every single other person because you have no set boundaries, and then you're going throughout life on 1% battery, on 0% battery, trying to serve from an empty cup. And the last one out of the 4 is usually because we are used to codependent relationships. If there has been a codependent relationship dynamic from growing up with a parent or an uncle or an aunt or whoever it was that raised you as a kid, if you have been used to that growing up, then it's very likely that that pattern might emerge throughout your adulthood, of however old you are right now. Because it's comfortable. You're used to it. So that pattern starts to emerge in relationships in the future, in friendships in the future, with strangers in the future. So being able to cut that dynamic off by setting boundaries, by doing things like, this is the how-to of how you actually change this, right? Now we're becoming aware of like why this might be emerging, the how-to of all of this. Number 1, get clear about why this might be emerging for you. Out of those 4, which one is it for you? Number 2, it's as simple as setting little self-care rituals. And I know that you want something that's going to be complex, but nope, it's as simple as that. For me, what I had to do is I had to make sure that, and this, I didn't create this concept, this was said by Preston Smiles, and when he said this, it really sank in for me really, really deeply. He said to not serve from an empty cup, to fill your cup up so much and then give from the overflow. Give from what's left once that cup is so full, and what is overflowing? That is what is the world's. That is for your partner. That is for your friends. That is for whoever it is that is reaching out to you. So I had no room on my memory card, but I just wanted to end the video. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please let me know in the comments what was most insightful to you. If you guys aren't already, follow me on Instagram, Matt_Cama. I release videos and posts just like this one, and I know it will definitely help you, especially if you are on your healing journey. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, because I release videos like this all the time, and hopefully this has helped you out. If it did, give it a big thumbs up, drop a comment, and until I see you all in the very next video, remember to love all living beings, and most importantly, love thyself.